Welcome to Big Bet Blackjack Dealer Training. Big Bet Blackjack is regular blackjack with two rule changes. Rule number 1. A big bet replaces a double down. A big bet is an additional bet up to 2 times the initial wager that can be made on any 2-card hand totaling under 20 without requiring the player to take another card. And rule number 2. Dealer busts pay against a pay table. All dealer busts will pay based on the number of cards in the busted hand. 3-card busts pay 1 to 2, or half, which is the take-back in this game. 4-card busts pay even money. 5 and more card busts pay odds up to 100 to 1. Let's see a hand of Big Bet Blackjack in action. The player will make their bet, and the deal will begin. Player has 18 against a dealer 3. In regular blackjack, the player would stand pat. In Big Bet Blackjack, the player has the option of making a 1x or 2x big bet on this hand. The player will make a 2x big bet and tell the dealer he wants to stand. Dealer has 13, 22, too many. All busts in Big Bet Blackjack use the pay table. A dealer bust with 3 cards is going to pay 1 to 2 on all the bets. And the cards will be collected, and play will begin for the next hand. Let's compare a double down to a big bet. A double down is a raise plus a hit plus a stand, all in one action. A big bet is just a raise. After the raise, the player can stand or hit without any restrictions. A double down can be made on any 2-card hand, including after a split. A big bet also can be made on any 2-card hand, so long as it totals under 20, and again also after a split. For this rule, aces are counted as 11, so you cannot split ace-9, ace-ace, or a blackjack. A double down is for 1 times the original wager, or double the original wager. A big bet is 1 or 2 times the original wager, or double or triple. Let's break down the dealer bust rule. All dealer busts are paid based on the number of cards in the busted hand. 8-card busts pay up to 101 odds, where 3-card busts pay 1 to 2 or half, which is the take-back in this game. Blackjacks pay immediately and won't qualify for the dealer bust pay table. And payouts made against the main wager and the big bets, meaning they stack. For example, if a player makes a big bet of 2 times their initial wager for a total of 3 bet units in play, and the dealer busts with 7 cards, all 3 of the player's bets will pay 10 to 1. Let's discuss the hand signals used in this game. Since a big bet is just a raise, the player will be required to use a hand signal to ask for another card or stand pat, just like regular blackjack. The same hand signals will be used for hitting and standing as in standard blackjack. The double down rule does not apply for Big Bet Blackjack. Doubling down is not allowed. It is replaced by the big bet. Fortunately for the player, a big bet is better than a double down in all situations. You can bet up to 2 times your wager, or triple, instead of 1 times, or a double. The player is not required to take a card with a big bet, where they're forced to take exactly 1 card with a double down. And a player can continue to hit, where in blackjack, if a player doubles down on 11 and say they're dealt a 2, they're stuck with a total of 13. In Big Bet Blackjack, they could hit that 13 again if they like. Splitting. Standard split rules apply to Big Bet Blackjack. A player may split up to 3 times for a total of 4 hands. Exactly 1 card is given on split aces. meaning a player cannot resplit those aces. And a big bet after a split is allowed, again except on split aces. This applies to every hand that is split. So if a player splits 3 times for a total of 4 hands, they can big bet on all of those hands. The rule specific to Big Bet Blackjack is a player cannot split after making a big bet. Again, this is similar to a double down rule, where a player cannot split after a double down. Blackjacks pay 3 to 2 or 6 to 5 depending on configuration. Blackjacks always pay immediately. A player cannot make a big bet on a blackjack. The aces play high, so it will always be considered a 21 for the purposes of the big bet rule. Blackjacks do not qualify for odds on a dealer bust. Again, this is to protect the player, since a 3-card dealer bust would only pay half.
Let's see some more hands in action. Place your bets. $12 against a 6. Player makes a 1 times big bet and tells the dealer they wish to stand. Dealer will reveal their cards. 10, 13, 15, 16, 26. It's a bust. The 6-card bust this time works out in the player's favor and is going to pay 3 to 1 on all the bets. Next hand, place your bets. Pair of 8s against a 7. Just like regular blackjack, a player can split. First hand is 14. Not going to make a big bet on this hand against a 7, although they could if they wanted to. They'll just take a hit. It's a bust. We'll collect this bet. Move on to the next hand. 3 for 11. This time the player can make another big bet. Tell the dealer they wish to hit. 21. Dealer has 17. Pay even money on all the bets. Place your bets. $11 against an 8, a classic double down opportunity. In this case, with the big bet, the player can triple on any 2 cards under 20. They'll ask for a hit. 12, the dreaded 12. After a double down, you're stuck. With big bet, you can keep hitting. 22. This time we're done.
Let's cover some tips and tricks to help you remember this game. The 2s rule. A player can big bet up to 2 times the wager on any 2-card hand under 20. Use the layout. The betting circles inform the player of when they can make the big bet. It also reinforces the 2s rule mentioned above. Teach for tips. In this game, players will assume it's like regular blackjack at times, and they'll double down like they used to. Show them to move the bet into the betting circle and tell them they can bet up to 2 times their wager instead of a traditional double. When a player hits that big win, watch the tokes come in. And finally, this game has bigger wins than any other blackjack game on the market. When do players tip more? When they win more. Quiz time. Let's review some scenarios and see how you would handle them. Situation number 1. A player makes a 1 times big bet, or double, and asks to receive their next card face down. Inform them in Big Bet Blackjack They can bet up to 2 times their wager if they want. And so long as they keep the card face up, they can continue to hit if their next card is not ideal. If the player still insists on the card being face down, the player can do so, only they will stand and won't be allowed to hit again. Situation number 2. A player has been dealt a blackjack, and the dealer has a 2 showing. The player decides to make a 2 times big bet and asks to play it as 11 and hit to try to win even more. In this case, inform them they cannot do that. In Big Bet Blackjack, aces always play as 11 for a big bet, thus a hand of 21 is not under 20. Alternatively, you could tell them that blackjacks pay immediately. Situation number 3. A player gets a blackjack and is paid 3-2. The dealer then ends up busting with 7 cards, and the player asks for a 10-1 payout instead, based on the pay table on the layout. Explain in Big Bet Blackjack that blackjacks are paid immediately. This protects the player from the alternate case where a 3-card bust pays only half. Situation number 4. A player splits a pair of 3s. The first hand after the split receives an 8 for the second card for a total of 11. The player then makes a 2x big bet and asks for a hit. Give the player a card. In Big Bet Blackjack, a player can big bet after a split. They just cannot split after making a big bet. Big Bet Blackjack features the top 20s side bet. This side bet pays on 2-card hands totaling 20 or higher. Every hand that cannot be big bet. In this case, the big winner is 2 aces of spades with a dealer blackjack, which will pay 1,000 to 1. But any hand 20 or higher will always pay. For this side bet, hands such as ace 9 do qualify since aces play high and a player cannot make a big bet on this wager. In the event the player's first 2 cards are the aces of spades, the dealer should wait and check for blackjack first before resolving the payout.
This hand, the player is elected to make the top 20 side wager. This side bet pays if your first 2 cards total 20 or higher, so 20, 21 or blackjack, or 22, which is 2 aces in this game. There it is, 2 aces. When we come to the player's turn, we're going to pay out this bet. With this pay table, 2 aces is going to pay 25 to 1. And play will resume as normal. With aces in this game, they can be split just like regular blackjack. The player will make the second bet and tell the dealer they would like to split. With aces, you only get 1 card to an ace, and there's no big bet opportunity since getting the second card ends the hand. Dealer has 14, 18, 18, 18. This hand's a push, but the 20 will win.